Hi, my name is Jordan Johnson, and I wanted to talk with you a little bit about using goal setting as a tool to have the impact that you want to have with your business. Whenever I joined UBAM in April of 2015, my goals were actually pretty small. I wanted to build my family's library, and I wanted to help create a little wiggle room in our budget while staying home with my kids. My financial goal was to make about $250 a month. When I hit that goal at my kickoff party, I realized that I had drastically underestimated what was possible with this business. I started more intentionally working toward team leader. And when I met those qualifications in May, I felt like I had succeeded. My first paycheck was a great one, but I still didn't feel like I could justify spending all of it to go to Tulsa for a national convention. Thankfully, my sponsor and team leader, Natasha Woodlock, wouldn't take no for an answer and pushed me to reconsider. It was at convention that I truly caught the vision and realized the full potential of the impact I had the opportunity to have on the lives of my loved ones, my team members and their families, and children all across the U.S. At one of the presentations at convention, I was sitting behind my upline leader, Laura Schagel, who has since become a great friend. I don't even remember who was speaking, but they shared a graphic that showed us the qualifications for promoting to upper level leadership. I remember leaning forward to ask Laura questions and feeling bad for interrupting whoever was speaking, but being so excited and inspired that I had to find out the answers right then. I started furiously mapping out some goals that were, unbeknownst to me, tremendous at the time. This is the first draft of those goals. Now, I'm sure you can tell a few things by this first draft. One, I really was still so new. I didn't have a clear picture of central group versus executive group, nor did I realize that while I wanted to keep recruiting and growing my central group, my goal was not for that group to be big, but to keep promoting people out. You can also tell that I really like acronyms and was trying way too hard to come up with one. Go ahead and laugh. I would. And lastly, I still did not fully grasp what was possible with UBAM. This number ended up being well over 10 to 15 times that, and this happened within 7 months. Some of my friends thought I was crazy for shooting for director within a year. At that time, no one had done that, and I'm sure they seriously doubted whether or not it was even possible. But one thing is for sure, people with goals succeed because they know where they are going. So let's talk a little bit about why we should set goals. Firstly, and probably most importantly, a goal gives you a target to aim for. Without goals, we lack direction and are putting in time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears without getting the core results we really want. Setting goals is the first step to taking control of your life and creating the results you want. The reason for that is that a goal helps focus your time and effort. When I work my business, it only makes sense that I strategically use my time to work toward the goals I have set. I prioritize and plan my efforts to ensure that they are taking me closer to my goals. A good example of this is a laser beam. Most light sources are diffused, but with a laser, all of the light waves from a given source are concentrated, emitting light in a narrow, focused beam. It's this spatial coherence that enables applications such as laser cutting and laser surgery. Similarly, we are capable of infinitely more when we are not distracted by trivial pursuits and the busyness of everyday life. How many times have you been working on a booking blitz or other necessary business task only to be derailed by a personal message that you felt like you had to check right then? It's not that the things that distract us have no value or importance, but that they often have less value or importance. Setting clear goals allows you to more consciously recognize low priority tasks that do not impact your target and high priority tasks that positively contribute to what you ultimately want to achieve. Setting goals also creates accountability and motivation. Everyone talks about things they are going to do, but setting goals obligates you to act. While you may be accountable to someone else with the goals you set, depending on the circumstances, the real accountability is to yourself. It's accountability not to give up when things get difficult, not to give in to fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of the unknown. It's accountability to find a different path when you face an obstacle on the road to your destination. Which leads me to the last reason you should set goals. Goals essentially provide a roadmap from where you are to where you want to be. Mapping out a carefully crafted strategy with intermediate goals provides a route to achieving larger, more challenging goals. Breaking up seemingly impossible goals is beneficial for a couple of reasons. One, achieving intermediate goals encourages us along the way. And two, your intermediate goals provide valuable feedback on your journey, such as how much progress you are or are not making, and whether or not you are staying on course. In every endeavor, you can expect to make mistakes and face unexpected obstacles and setbacks. However, it's what you do with these experiences that really matters. Now let's talk a little bit about how you should set goals. According to a study by the Harvard School of Business, 83% of Americans do not have clearly defined goals. 83%. 14% have goals but have not written them down. And a measly 3% have written goals. Do you think those goals or lack thereof have affected their income? Are y'all ready for this? The cumulative earnings of that 3% is 10 times the cumulative earnings of the 83%. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not remotely interested in being part of that 83% or even the 14%. I want to be part of the 3%. Not only so I can make more money, but so I can get a better return on the time that I'm investing in my business. I deserve that, and my loved ones deserve that. So let's go back to that slide and see what the 3% did differently. So we see first off that the 83% did not have clearly defined goals, which implies that the other two groups had goals that did meet that qualification. The 14% had goals but did not write them down, but the 3% did write them down. So they had clearly defined goals that were documented. Now, what other criteria should your goals meet? Let's make it simple and in alphabetical order, shall we? In addition to being clearly defined and documented, your goals need to be accessible and measurable. After all, that's how you will determine how much progress you are or are not making. So, for example, setting a goal of being the world's coolest person is not accessible because cool points are not an actual unit of measurement, despite what you may or may not have been told in junior high. However, setting a goal of breaking the record for the longest duration polar swim ever completed is both measurable and also very cool, figuratively and literally. You also want your goals to be big. Make it worth the work. Steve Jobs was known for his incredibly high standards. One employee shared that when engineers completed the prototype for the first iPod and presented their work to Jobs for approval, he immediately rejected it because it was too big. The engineers explained that they would have to reinvent inventing to make it any smaller. It was impossible. Jobs stood up, walked over to an aquarium, and dropped the iPod in the water. After it sank to the bottom, bubbles floated to the top. "Those are air bubbles," he said. "That means there's space in there. Make it smaller." It was Jobs' fierce attitude of pushing beyond what seemed possible that made Apple the innovative powerhouse it is today. Impossible goals drive innovation and result in cutting-edge solutions. So make your goals the kind of goals that will force you to be creative, inventive, and therefore successful in realizing unprecedented achievements. And last but not least, make sure your goals have an end date or a deadline. Deadlines affect nearly everything we have discussed so far. They provide accountability, motivation, and force intentional focus. Which brings me to what goals you should set. For the purpose of our business, I recommend setting goals for promotion level. What leader level you would like to see yourself and others in your downline achieve. Income level, again, for yourself and others. And team growth, which should include new recruits and success-bound recruits, both in your central group and executive group. I recommend that your goal is for all new recruits to be success-bound, because by the time a recruit gets to that point, they have more confidence in what they are capable of and are also more committed to their business. I also want to note that while it may seem odd to set goals for your downline, as you grow your team and your business, your goals become less about you and more about others. Embrace the opportunity to serve your downline and help them meet their goals. It will be a tremendous blessing to them and also to you. As far as deadlines go, I personally recommend setting goals in these categories for 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, with daily, weekly, and monthly intermediate steps that help put you on the trajectory to meet those goals. So what do you do if you Exceed those goals ahead of schedule. Set new, significantly more challenging goals, and don't let yourself off the hook. You are doing yourself and your team a disservice if you set the bar low. What do you do if you don't reach your goals on schedule, or if it doesn't look like it's going to happen? Re-strategize and reroute. Change the path, but not the goal. We all have obstacles on the way to our goals, but you have to choose to keep swimming and find a new route when things don't work the first time. Partner with your team leader or an Uzzy buddy with similar goals so you will have someone to strategize with and serve as an accountability partner. Whatever your goals are, if they are challenging at all, and they should be, expect to fail at some point. It's part of the process, and it's how we learn. Oprah Winfrey once said that failure is not the end of the road. It's a big red flag saying to you, wrong way, turn around. Your goals are really just destinations. Not some lofty philosophical dream with no chance of realization, but a place you are traveling to and will eventually reach if you persist, regardless of how many roads you must travel and how many times you must reroute to get there. Steve Maraboli sums it up perfectly. When you establish a destination by defining what you want, then take physical action by making choices that move you towards that destination, the possibility for success is limitless, and arrival at the destination is inevitable. I hope this training was beneficial for you. And now it's time to go out, set some big goals, and take action. Let's do this.